everyone, so I'm here to talk you through what we are going to do for our layered salad practical. So first of all, before we start the lesson, you will need to prepare yourself. So you will need to put an apron on, take your blazer off, make sure that your sleeves are rolled up, wash your hands, tie up any long hair, and make sure all jewellery or watches and things, we've taken those off as well. So for this practical lesson you will need a chopping board, a knife will be brought round to you by your teacher, and you will be given one of these salad bowls by your teacher as well. You also need a bowl for putting in your waste. So effectively what we need to do is we're going to make a layered salad. Now with that, what it's going to consist of is 5 different layers for our salad, and it's going to include a variety of different fruits and vegetables that we have decided to put in our salad. Now it needs to be unique to you, so I'm using some fruit and vegetables that I've chosen to use, but you can use a variety of different things. Doesn't have to be the same as what I'm producing. So first of all, we're going to plan out our first layer. So we've got this pot here. Now ideally my first layer is going to come to about here, and then I'm going to plan out each of my layers. Now depending on what ingredients you're including will depend on how thick those layers will be. You need to plan very carefully what ingredients you are bringing in. So the first one I'm starting off with is a lettuce. Now with regards to the lettuce, I've got a larger one here, so I'm going to show you how to cut this. However, with your layered salad you're not going to need very much lettuce at all. You'd only need sort of 2 or 3 lettuce leaves, so don't bother bringing in a whole one like this, or else it will just end up being wasted. So with this I'm going to use something called the claw grip. Now the claw grip effectively is me making a claw with my fingers like that to stabilise the fruit or vegetable, and then with my knife I would cut like this. So my fingers here are in a claw grip, and then with my knife I would carefully cut through like that. Now I can then place that into my bowl like so, to form my first layer. Now arrange it carefully and well considered. I might actually add a little bit more onto that as well. So again, claw grip, so the whole point of when we're cutting these vegetables, our fingers should be well away from the knife blade, so we don't want any injuries. So you need to measure roughly how much you've got in there, so it's a good size layer and it's clear and well considered. So that's my lettuce layer. So I can now put the rest of my ingredients with regards to the lettuce to one side. Now I always try to put ingredients that have got quite a lot of wetness to them in near the bottom, as effectively what's going to happen is the ingredients that have quite a lot of wetness, it's going to drip through the different layers. So to prevent that happening, I tend to put those nearer the bottom. So I've got a variety of tomatoes. Again, I'm going to use my claw grip. So my grip's going to be like that and my knife's going to be next to it. We don't want to end up hurting ourselves, so be very, very careful. And with these I'm going to complete a variety of different cuts. You could even slice them this way. So this grip that I'm going to show you now is the bridge grip. So can you see how my hand here has formed a bridge? If I'm cutting between those, that is the bridge grip. So let me show you that again. Cutting between those is the bridge grip. Now, the idea is that my fingers are well away from where the knife edge is. So be very, very careful of your fingers. We don't want any injuries. And the idea is this is going to then form my layer. So when you've sort of cut most of your layer, I suggest laying those out really well considered onto your salad. So you can see how I'm considering where I'm positioning this red layer. Now it might be that we end up adding more, but it's better to cut less so that you can then cut more if you need to. So I can see at the moment that I'm still going to need several more tomatoes with that. It's started to create a layer on the side, but it's not quite as much as I would like it to be. So again, bridge grip. So they can then be placed on here. So you want to try and form as thorough a layer as possible with as little gaps as possible for your best layered salad. Now I would suggest looking at your layers from the side as well. So you might want to hold it up so that you can look at it from the side. Don't tip it at all, as it's all going to mess those layers up. But it's fine to just sort of bend down and have a look at what those layers are doing. If you've got anything here like tomato juice on your chopping board, you might want to then go and give it a wash so you don't end up getting all that juice on your other ingredients. So that is absolutely fine if you want to do that. From here, I'm then considering what is going to be my next layer in this salad. So I've currently got lettuce and tomatoes. My other ingredients I'm going to add is I've got a red onion, I have a boiled egg that I've already boiled at home. So if you want to bring in something like an egg, you need to boil that at home first. If you want to bring anything in like cooked meats, like bacon, chicken, that kind of thing, you can, but again you need to cook those at home in advance of your lesson. And I've also got sweet corn. So I think I'm going to go with the sweet corn layer next. I was going to go with the red onion, but I've decided that the red of this onion is too close to the red of the tomatoes. So I've decided that it would be more of a contrast with the layers if I use the sweet corn at this stage. Okay, so if you are using a tin of anything, so I've got the sweet corn here, you might also use something like tuna, for example. The tins will have a variety of different methods of opening them. So this one here has got a ring pull. So with that one we follow a different method than if you were using one that didn't have that. So we'd use a can opener for that, and it would look a bit like this bottom part of the tin there. Right, if you're struggling, so you need to pull this bit up. If you're struggling with this, you can use a very blunt knife. Don't use a sharp knife as you'll end up hurting yourself, to just lift that up so it's sticking up at a bit of a better angle. And just push it like that. With this hand, you're going to hold the tin steady, and with this hand, you're basically pulling up and back towards you. So effectively it's like this, and you're pulling the can backwards. Don't worry if you can't get it all the way off, partially off is fine. If you are using a tin of something that needs to have the ingredients or the water drained out of it, try and use a sieve like this. So with this sieve, what you need to do is hold this over top of the sink or a bowl if you can't get to the sink, and effectively you're pouring all of your contents of your sweet corn tin into the sieve. Try not to spill any, and then you might want to give it a little shake to just try and get rid of as much excess water as possible. This then needs to get to your desk where you're preparing your salad. So this is all going to drip out of the bottom, so try and avoid walking around the room like this, because it's going to end up you leaving trails of water behind you. So I'd use a bowl and tip your sweet corn into your bowl, and that should be in a state where you can now put it straight onto your salad. If you've got a tin like this and you need to get bits out, you can use a spoon to get them out, but just remember that all around here, all around these edges are sharp. Okay, so just be very, very careful when you're doing that. Make sure that as soon as you've finished with a can like this, you don't just leave it on your desk. Make sure this goes straight to the bin, because we don't want anybody hurting themselves on it. We've then got to put our sweet corn layer from our bowl into our layered salad pot. So the best way to do that is to just simply sprinkle it on using a spoon and making sure it's got a nice even layer on there. So look at it from the sides and just check that you can see a nice even layer. We don't want bits of sweet corn that have just gone between layers. We want to see from the side that this has got well considered and well defined layers. So effectively from here what I want to see is my lettuce, my tomatoes, and then the sweet corn on the very top. So I sort of look at that very carefully. I'm then going to focus on my layer of red onion. So with regards to this layer, what I'm going to do first of all is use the bridge grip, which remember is this one where my hands form a bridge, and I'm going to cut my red onion in half. I won't need to use all of my red onion, just half of it. So notice how with a red onion this moves around quite a lot, so just be very careful when you're cutting. And then you've got lots of bits here of that are waste. So remember I asked you to get a waste bowl. Put your bits of waste into that bowl so you don't end up getting muddled up as to which bits are waste and which bits aren't. So you should be able to see that I've now created a flat surface with my red onion. Now you need to peel off, with any onions you need to peel off the dull skin. So with a red onion you're peeling until it's nice and shiny. With a traditional brown onion you are peeling until you get to the creamy layer that's underneath the brown skin. So effectively you're taking this off, and that's our waste, so we don't need that bit. So put that into your waste bowl. Roughly like that. Now with red onions there's a variety of different ways you can cut them. So I'm going to first of all use the claw grip to cut off this end, which we don't usually eat. Then I'm going to use my claw grip to create these into arcs. Remember my fingers are well away from the blade of the knife, so I don't want to have any accidents. Okay, when you cut quite a few layers, you then need to get your layered salad dish and effectively lay these out in your red onion layer. Now we might need to cut a little bit more later. You can see I've got some spare, but just lay them out so that they're positioned where you want it to, similar to what we did with the tomatoes. Now you can, if you'd prefer, cut these into dices, that's fine as well. So you're looking for a defined layer. So I'm trying to put the purple edges on the side so that it's really well seen. Now my last layer that you're going to see me do is this boiled egg. So with the boiled egg, I don't need the shell, so effectively I'm just going to hit that on the chopping board, and then I should be able to start peeling off the shell. Keep that separate, so it needs to be in your waste bowl or at the very side of your chopping board so it's out of the way. So with this, you're peeling it like so until you're left with the white layer underneath. You can use a spoon or something like that to help you with this as well. So effectively we're now left with our layer. Take off all the shell, and then carefully you are going to use the bridge grip or the claw grip, whichever you feel is easiest. I might use the bridge grip first to slice my egg in half, before then cutting it into slices using the claw grip. Roughly like that, and the same with the other half. Remember, keep your fingers well away from the knife. Remember, the eggs can sort of move around quite a lot, so just be very careful and wary of that. When you've completed that, your egg then needs to go onto the top layer of your layered salad. Roughly like that. Now you might need to consider how many eggs you need. If it was a bottom layer, one would probably be enough, but looking at this at the moment, you might want to consider doing a little bit more for a top layer. Please remember that the ingredients I have used are suggestions of things that you could do should you want to. You don't have to do the same ingredients as me. You can do a variety of different ones of your choice. You don't have to do them in the same order as me. Totally up to you. So come up with your own unique salad that is unique to you and well considered by you. With regards to how I've presented this, I've used mostly chopping skills. I've also used the skill of opening the can as well. However, there's other things that you can do as well. So you can do things like grating a carrot, for example. You can do different cuts with the carrot. So just think what sort of thing you want to do that will show quite a lot of skills and will show a variety of different things that you could complete for this. With regards to the top of this presentation, think very carefully about how you can make it neatly presented. So at the moment I'm looking at mine, and I think mine could be a little bit neater than what I'm showing you here today. So could you do sort of an arrangement on the top to make it really well presented? Think about it and think about what you can do. So when you are in your lesson and you've finished completing this layered salad, you just gently need to put the lid on. Don't press down on the lid or it's going to scrunch up the bowl. And effectively, you are then going to start washing everything up. So at your sink, you need to get a variety of sort of a good system in place. So we're going to have one person who's going to wash up, one person who's going to dry up, and we're going to have one person to put away. If there's 4 of you at your sink, maybe one person can go and collect things from the tables and take it to the sink, etc. That would work as well. Okay, so at your sink you should have a space next to it that isn't metal, and that is where you're going to put your dirty dishes. You're going to have your sink with a washing up bowl, and that's going to be where you're going to wash those up. And then you're going to have right over here the draining board, and that's for draining off the things that you've used upside down. So that's for when you've cleaned things, the person who is drying up is going to take them from the drying board to dry them, and then the other person is going to put them away. Okay, so when you are at the stage of washing up, you need to run a bowl of warm soapy water. So you need the hot tap running, you need a very small amount of washing up liquid, so sort of a pea-sized amount. You don't need loads of washing up liquid at all. Fill up the whole bowl. Make sure that any of the equipment you put in your bowl does not have any fruit or vegetables on. We don't want any food going down the sink, and you'll be clearing out your sink before you are allowed to leave the room. So please make sure you don't end up having to put yourself in a situation where you're picking vegetables out of the sink at the end of the lesson. So when you've got your warm soapy water sorted, your person who's washing will need to wash each of the pieces of equipment thoroughly. Remember to try and wash anything that's glass first, like we spoke about on the washing up page in our books, and dry those things upside down, so turn them over so they're upside down. Don't put any knives in this washing up bowl, so you just literally dip them in, hold on to them whilst we clean like that. Particularly that's the case with sharp knives, so just be aware of that. When it comes to your chopping board, make sure that all the ingredients are off of the chopping board before washing it up. So wash up your chopping boards, make sure they're all very, very clean. Dry it standing upwards so all the water can drain off of it. Again with the knife, make sure dip it in, don't let go of it. The reason we do that is so that we're all aware of where the knives are, and also we don't end up hurting ourselves. When everything's been washed up, if your water's dirty and you're not intending to use it anymore, you can tip it away. Check that all the outside of your sink is clean. When you are drying up, make sure every piece of equipment is thoroughly dry before putting it away in the cupboards. So when you finish with your water, tip your water away. You might need to rinse out your washing up bowl to make sure it's 100% clean. And the same with your sink, so make sure your sink is 100% clean. If it's not, you need to clean it. Your washing up bowl should sit in your sink upside down like that so all the water can drain off of it. You then might need to get a cloth or a tea towel and just dry up any excess water over your draining board or around your sink to make sure it's ready for the next person. If you have any fruit or vegetables left over, for example the other half of my onion, what you might want to do is start putting those away. So you might want to put them in sort of a polythene bag or wrap them in something that's going to keep it fresh. Then you can put those in the fridge and collect it at the end of the day.